Hi, I'm Jennifer Douglas from Being Human. You might wonder what to expect in a session with emotional freedom technique. So I'd like to talk a little bit about tapping and what it is that we're doing when we're tapping. The science behind tapping has to do with acupressure points, and these are points on the body's energy pathways called the meridians. And by physically tapping on these points while we're talking about a stressor, we can deprogram the body's stress response so that we're no longer triggered by that event or experience in our past. So you see that I've started tapping on the side of my hand. This is the first point that we typically use in a session. We call it the karate chop point because it's that karate chop place where you would be using your hand. So during a session, usually you will come in with something that you'd like to discuss, whether that's a recent event, something that happened to you in your daily life or in your family, or you're trying to delve into things from your past. When we're talking about this event, we're trying to hone in on what are the emotions that you're feeling related to that event, how intense are those emotions, where do those emotions show up in your body? So do you have a tight stomach? Is your neck really taut? Do you have a sinking feeling in your abdomen? Do you have heartburn over this issue? So we try to locate those emotions in the body and how intense that feeling is as well. When we start working through a specific event, we also typically look for aspects of that event that stand out to you in your memory. And an aspect is a very literal part of that event, something that corresponds to your five senses. So if you're thinking about a recent interaction at work, you might be thinking about the tone of your boss's voice during that interaction. Maybe the color of the room that you were in when that was happening stands out in your memory. Maybe it's a sound that you heard in the background, like the beeping of a copy machine or the sound of the elevator that stands out. All of these sensory components are actually part of what's programming the stress response in your body. And you may be responding to those components in other areas of your everyday life without even realize why you're being triggered by that specific thing. Sometimes events from our earlier lives and in our childhood have imprinted in such a way that we may be triggered by things that we don't even think about in our daily life. And so if you had a teacher at a young age who was really intimidating to you, and that teacher wore big black glasses, then you may be getting triggered at some point by an individual who has a similar looking glasses on their face, and you may not know why you're feeling so threatened in that situation or with that person. So as we're working through an event, we'll be tapping, as you see me doing here, on the top of the head, the inside of the eyebrow, the outside of the eye, under the eye, under your nose, the center of your chin, underneath your collarbone points, and underneath your armpit. And we repeat these cycles as we're working through different parts of that event or experience. Or if we're talking about the emotions that are associated with them, if you feel really angry and it feels like you have this fiery ball in the middle of your chest every time you think about this, then we're tapping on the anger that you feel and that sensation of the fiery ball in your chest. As we're talking about that stressor, while tapping these acupressure points, we can usually calm the body's reaction and the emotional reaction to the point where we can neutralize your response to that event. It doesn't take it away. It doesn't make it right, whatever happened in the past, but it can neutralize your response so that you can move on and be more productive in your everyday life because you're no longer being triggered by what happened so long ago. And that's what's wonderful about tapping. It allows your body to reprogram that response, to actually reintegrate that memory in a different way, while also affirming you as an individual and providing you a pathway to move on in your life and to experience similar situations without the same triggers.